Hello students. Now that you are thorough with chapter 5, that is vectors, we begin with chapter 6, that is line and plane. Here in this chapter we are going to apply the concepts which we learnt in vectors. We begin with the vector and Cartesian equations of a line. Now consider P as a point in space. Now P can be represented by its Cartesian coordinates, that is x, y, z. These are called as the Cartesian coordinates of P. Or P can also be represented by its position vector, that is r bar. Say r bar is the position vector of P and r bar is equal to OP bar, where O is the origin. Now suppose we have a line passing through P. Okay, so we have a point P here, so a line passes through P this way. Now the equation of this line can be written in two ways. If it is written in terms of r bar, the position vector r bar, then it is known as the vector equation of the line. Okay, so if we write the equation of this line in terms of vector r bar, then this is known as the vector equation of the line. Or on the other hand, we can also write the equation of this line in terms of the coordinates x, y, z. Then this is known as the Cartesian coordinates, Cartesian equation of the line. So a line can have different forms of vector equations and Cartesian equations depending upon how many points that we know on the line, okay, and other facts about the line that is there. So that is what we are going to study right now. So we begin with the first theorem of the lesson, 6.1. Okay, that is, the theorem is the vector equation of a line passing through A, that is A bar, the position vector of point A is A bar, and parallel to vector B bar is R bar is equal to A plus lambda B. Okay, so let us understand what it means actually. See, suppose we have a line. Okay, let me draw it here and show it to you all. Suppose we have a line, say L, line L. This is line L and A is a point on line L. Now A has position vector A bar. A can be represented by the position vector A bar. Okay, and we also have a vector which is parallel to line L. Say vector, this is vector B. Okay, which is parallel to line L. Let me draw B properly. This is vector B which is parallel to line L. Now in this case, we are going to find out how to write the equation of the line in terms of r bar is equal to A plus lambda B bar. Now what is r bar? In this case, r bar is the position vector of any other point on the line. So suppose we have a point, say P on the line other than A bar, separate from A bar, and P has position vector r bar. Then we will get the equation of the line in terms of r bar is equal to A plus lambda B bar. Let us see how do we get it now. Now in this case, so initially let L be the line which passes through A bar and parallel to the vector B bar. So as you can see from the figure, L is a line, it has a point A on it and it is parallel to the vector B. Let P, the position vector of P is r bar, be a variable point on line L. So as you can see, P has also been written over here. Now we have AP parallel to B bar. From the figure, AP is parallel to B bar. So you have learnt in vectors chapter that if two vectors are parallel to each other, they can be represented by a scalar between them. So we have AP bar is equal to lambda B bar, where lambda is the required scalar. Now what is AP bar? AP bar in terms of position vectors, we can write AP bar as OP minus OA. Okay, again this you have learnt in the previous chapter. Now OP is nothing but R bar and OA is nothing but A bar. So we write R bar minus A bar is equal to lambda B, or on the other hand, we say that r bar is equal to a plus lambda b. So this becomes the vector equation of the line. So this is known as the vector equation of the line. Remember this because it is very important for you to understand this. Now, in this case, in this vector equation, we have lambda, which is known as a parameter. So lambda is the parameter, and therefore the equation is also known as the parametric form of vector equation. Okay, therefore r bar is equal to a plus lambda b is also known as the parametric form of the vector equation. Why? Because we are using lambda as a parameter. Now we can also eliminate lambda from here. Suppose we don't need lambda or lambda is not given to us. Then we can have another form of the equation whereby, now in this case, see, we have AP bar, okay, AP parallel to R, AP is parallel to B, not R, AP is parallel to B, and therefore we have AP cross B is equal to 0. You know that the cross product of two parallel vectors is 0. So AP cross B is 0, and therefore we can have R minus A in terms of position vectors, R minus A cross B is equal to 0. So in this equation, there is no parameter used. Lambda is not there. So this can also be called as the non-parametric form of the vector equation of the line. Although we'll be using the above parametric form more often, but this is just for your knowledge that this is known as the non-parametric form of the vector equation of the line. So basically, remember this. Keep it thoroughly in your mind. Remember this properly. Okay, that r bar is equal to a plus lambda b is the vector equation of a line. Okay, passing through one point. Okay, the point is A and parallel to a given vector, which is B. Keep it in mind actually. Now we also go to find the Cartesian form of the equation. Now theorem 6.2, that brings us to theorem 6.2. The Cartesian equations of a line passing through A, x1, y1, z1 and having direction ratios A, B, C are given as x minus x1 upon A is equal to y minus y1 upon B is equal to z minus z1 upon C. So as you can see over here, there is no mention of position vectors and there is no mention of r bar, okay, or a bar here, or b bar for that matter. So in this case, let L be the line. So let me draw and show it to you all. Suppose L is the required line and A is a point on the line. Say A is a point on the line. A has the coordinates, say x1, y1 and z1. Now here L has direction ratios ABC. Okay, the direction ratios of L are ABC. I need not tell you what are direction ratios. You have learned them in the previous lesson. Okay, so the direction ratios of line has direction ratios, as many as it can have. Okay, and they are ABC. Okay, now suppose P is another point on line L. Suppose P is a point on line L other than say A, and P has these coordinates, say x, y, z are the coordinates of P. So in that case, we can write the direction ratios of line L. See, we know 2 points on line L. The coordinates of both the points are known. So from this data, we can have the direction ratios of line L in terms of x minus x1, y minus y1 and z minus z1. So the direction ratios of line L are given as x minus x1, y minus y1, z minus z1. But then we already have over here that the direction ratios of line L are ABC. So putting both these facts together, okay, putting both these particular direction ratios together, we can have the direction ratio, that is the equation of the line, can be written as x minus x1 upon A is equal to y minus y1 upon B is equal to z minus z1 upon c. These are the required Cartesian equations of a line. Okay, so when we write the equations of a line in terms of its direction ratios, we get the Cartesian equations of the line. Now, as you can see, we do not have a single equation. We cannot have one single equation representing Cartesian form. We have to have minimum 3. We have to have at least 3 equations depending upon the 3 coordinates of the line, of any point on the line that is there. So, this becomes the Cartesian equations of the line that is there. Okay, you go through both the theorems, make them thorough because they are asked in the boards to be proved as well. So, go through both theorem 6.1 and 6.2 also. Now, we go through certain properties. Okay, so let me write them as note. Before beginning with the exercise, certain more properties let us learn. First of all, see, we have the vector equation of a line as r bar is equal to a bar plus lambda b bar, where a is any point on the line and b is a vector parallel to the line. Now, suppose in this case, we have b bar is equal to a1i plus b1j plus c1k. If b bar is given as this particular vector, components of b bar are this, then we can say that a1, b1 and c1 are the direction ratios of the line. Okay, so a1, b1, c1 are the direction ratios of the line. And similarly, okay, conversely, okay, converse also is true. What is the converse? Conversely, if a1, b1, c1 are the direction ratios of the line, then we can have the parallel vector to the line as b is equal to a1i plus b1j plus c1k. So, the converse is also true. Okay, remember what is the converse? Ulta. Okay, so if a1, b1, c1 are the direction ratios of the line, then b is equal to a1i plus b1j plus c1k is a vector which is parallel to the line. So remember this, it will come in useful for solving sums, etc. Then the second property. Now we have the Cartesian equation of the line as x minus x1 upon a is equal to y minus y1 upon b is equal to z minus z1 upon c. Now this equation is known as the symmetric form of the equation of the line. This is also known, the Cartesian equation is also known as the symmetric form. Of the Cartesian equations of the line. Okay, so that way also we can call it. Now, just look at this particular equation. X minus x1 upon a is equal to y minus y1 upon b is equal to z minus z1 upon c. Just looking at the equation, we can find out the direction ratios of the line. So, what are the direction ratios of the line? The direction ratios of the line are a, b, c. The denominators a, b and c become the direction ratios of the line. Also, any point on the line has the coordinates x1, y1, z1. So, any point on the line is given by, say, a, x1, y1, z1. So, just by looking at the Cartesian equation, you must be able to find out what is the direction ratio of the line, what are the direction ratios of the line, and also what are the coordinates of any particular point on the line that is here. Okay, so this is a must. You must be able to recognize this by looking at the Cartesian equations. Let us go to the next property. Now, suppose we write x minus x1. Suppose we write x minus x1 upon a is equal to y minus y1 upon b is equal to z minus z1 upon c is equal to lambda. Then, in this case, rearranging the terms, we have x is equal to x1 plus a lambda or plus lambda a, let us say it as lambda a, y is equal to y1 plus lambda b, and z is equal to z1 plus lambda c. Now, these are called as parametric form of the Cartesian equations of the line. Already I mentioned it above. Okay, particularly x is equal to x1 plus lambda a, y is equal to y1 plus lambda b, plus z is equal to z1 plus lambda b, c. These are known as parametric forms. Why? Because the parameter lambda has been introduced over here. Okay, so wherever there is a parameter, we call it as parametric form of the equation. So we have the parametric form of the vector equation of the line, and also we have the parametric forms of the Cartesian equations of the line as well. Then going further, the next property, any coordinates. See, from this we can find out any point on the line. So any point on the line, okay, say P, any variable point on the line, P is given as, see, any variable point on the line is given as P, and the coordinates of P are x1 plus lambda a, y1 plus lambda b, and z1 plus lambda c. Okay, looking at whatever we saw above in the third property, we can find out that any point on the line can be given this way. Now, one more interesting thing which we come across is that, suppose instead of using the direction ratios a, b, c, we use the direction cosines of the line, say L, M and N. Then the coordinates of the variable point P in terms of the direction cosines L, M, N are given as P, that is x1 plus lambda L, instead of A we write L, y1 plus lambda M, and z1 plus lambda N, this way. And also we know that A is a point on the line. A is given as x1, y1, z1. Then in this case, length AP, or by using distance formula, we have AP square. Okay, so therefore we write that AP square, which is given as, by using distance formula, we can have x1 plus lambda L minus x1 the whole square plus y1 plus lambda M minus y1 the whole square plus z1 plus lambda N minus z1 the whole square. So as you can see, x1, y1 and z1 get cancelled, and therefore we have AP square, which becomes lambda square L square plus lambda square M square plus lambda square N square. So we take lambda square common, we get L square plus M square plus N square. Yes, we know that L square plus M square plus N square is 1. So therefore AP square becomes lambda square. And therefore we can say that AP is equal to mod of lambda, plus or minus lambda or mod of lambda. And on the other hand, we can say that lambda is equal to plus or minus AP. So in this way, the parameter lambda of a point on the line gives the distance of this point from the base point on the line. That is, P is the variable point on the line. So distance of P from A is given by lambda, can be written in terms of lambda actually, can be found out from lambda actually. So this is the basic theory of the beginning of this chapter. In the next lecture, we are going to use basically these concepts and solve certain sums which come in exercise 6.1. So today we learned two main equations of the line, mainly the vector equation of a line. Okay, what are the conditions of this particular vector equation? We should have a point on the line and we should have a vector which is parallel to the line. And this vector equation is given as r bar is equal to a plus lambda b. So keep this in mind for the next lecture. Similarly, we also learned the Cartesian equation of the line. The same conditions, that is a point on the line and the Cartesian equations of that same line. Okay, which is given as x minus x1 upon a is equal to y minus y1 upon b, which is equal to z minus z1 upon c. Keep this equation also in mind when we solve sums in the next lecture. So see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much for listening.